Originality, the coveted attribute that any new and aspiring writer strives for, to break apart from the crowd, stand out in the oceans, bring something truly fresh and memorable to life. One word of advice. If you're an aspiring writer, a writer in the early stages looking for guidance, or anyone who hasn't finished at least 5 feature-length screenplays, forget about originality. As a concept, it's worse than useless to you at this stage of your journey. Let me explain why and suggest where to realign your ambitions. The basis of my entire argument will be that it's not about coming up with a concept you've never thought of, rather executing effectively on whatever that concept is. Something to remember about originality is that everything stems from something. Originality, to an extent, is an illusion. When we think of original movies, they are usually the strongest, most memorable, and famous movies. But if we accurately break down each of these movies, we can find very familiar elements. The idea of strong, original movies usually stem from a foundationally superb story that holds a personalized coat of paint from the artist. Let's think about Top Gun Maverick for a minute, one of the most popular films of the year. It's just a dressed-up surrogate father-son story with dogfighting thrown in there to keep you entertained. That's a very simple and straightforward way to break it down. In this video, I want to talk about the movie Bones and All, which is a cannibal movie generally considered to be very original. In essence, this is a road trip movie about a young cannibal girl who falls in love with another cannibal. This may initially sound like a unique recipe on paper, but let's look at the 2 core ingredients. So Logan. We've all seen a road trip movie before, even ones where they're in search of a young girl's mother. Usually road trip movies are a good vessel through which the young protagonist can explore and see the world for the first time, breaking out of their shell. For Laura, in Logan, it's the outside world and its mutants. For Marin, in Bones and All, it's the outside world and its cannibals. Self-revelations are made throughout the journey. Now, to look at the other ingredient of the movie, we can think about the romance element of the film. Let me compare it to one of Luca Guadagnino's other films, Call Me By Your Name, which is a gay romance film. It's about a character in an unusual camp who yearns to be understood, but going deeper into this world forces them to get in dangerous situations and sacrifice more and more. It's about breaking down those moral walls and then the dangers that follow. So there's still very familiar DNA in this movie. Fundamentally, it is not original, but that baseline has a new coat of paint that is guided very well by the moment-to-moment direction. The way he approaches the concept of cannibals is very similar to how he approaches the concept of a gay romance. Both of these characters are entering a new and dangerous reality that they cannot deny of themselves, and they're looking for a community who can accept them and they can be a part of. Solid fundamentals, new themes. Putting originality as your end goal will overcomplicate the process because you're trying to think outside of the box. This will distract you from practicing the fundamentals. Every single great movie, no matter how original or complex it may seem, always has great building blocks. Being familiar but effective will be better than being original but broken. Once you have a grasp on the fundamentals, it will give you the freedom to apply those fundamentals to whatever thematic ideas you want, which is where originality springs out of. You can focus on philosophy once you don't have to worry about the technical elements because it comes naturally to you. Don't put the cart before the horse. Your view on life can be expressed through the fundamentals. Think of it this way. You find your viewpoint in life by learning how to live it, yes? In the same way, you learn how to express original stories by learning how to tell stories in the first place. I would challenge you to bring any objectively amazing movie to my attention that could not be broken down into clear objective metrics of success, like structure, proper characters, good conflict, strong dialogue, pacing, etc. Again, originality grows out of strong fundamentals. When we say a movie is original, often what we mean is they stuck with us. Good stories stick with us because they are well written. Bones and All doesn't strive to shoot over its head. It stays true to what it is and executes on it with brilliance. I would actually argue that the film is incredibly straightforward. I would recommend this movie to all of you, and when you're watching it, pay attention to the following elements, which are strong fundamentals. There's a lot of information being relayed because there's a deep lore to this world, but that info is expertly delivered to always be motivated by the character's need. We introduce a protagonist who needs this information, thus the audience does too. She is new to this world of cannibalism, which allows a lot of exposition to organically sprout. Do not excuse the smooth writing in this movie for a lack of needed exposition. Rather, realize how much exposition is in this movie because there is a very significant amount. It is all just handled very expertly because it is motivated properly. Internal and external conflict properly marry when the desire of the characters to be understood and loved puts them in dangerous situations with other cannibals. Their inner desires force them into externally dangerous scenarios. Then, this brings up philosophical conflicts which speak about the moral walls that are inevitably torn down through the pursuit of such desires. Conflict between characters is built up very well to hold tension throughout the film. One of the more complex topics to get into would be the genre combining of horror and romance. I'll get into the marriage of genres eventually in a future video, but just realize how well the horror and romance are executed on, and try to recognize why the two tones benefit one another in the end. Much of this is because of the tragic and emotional tone the film presents. Each genre benefits the theme. Please watch Bones and All while it's in theaters. And for all of you writers, focus on the building blocks rather than originality. Next on Sir Loopy Arts, I'll be talking about originality one more time when I discuss Avatar: The Way of the Water. Stay tuned because that video will be releasing next Tuesday. Thanks for watching this episode, guys. If you liked the video or found it informative, leave it a like and subscribe for more screenwriting content. If you thought it could have been better though, leave it a thumbs down and give me some constructive criticisms in the comments below. Thanks guys, I'll see you later.